Hey, this is Johnny Bond. Listen, wanted to make a recording here while I've got got a chance here, getting my oil changed, and probably you're going to see me do these little interviews here at different places at different times. I'll be sitting in my van sometime, most of the time. But when the idea comes to my head, I'm going to share it with you. But I wanted to talk to you about the what I had said earlier about how a deep sleep saved the family. A deep sleep saved the family. You know, we've been talking about how we had had an encounter with at the Tasty Tavern with the Freedom Riders, okay? And so we had escaped that situation without any harm to anyone, major harm to anyone. And we are heading back to the house to where we live on Bond Ferry Road. This is our personal, our grandfather's property. And of course, we'd said, we had a grocery store, we had our own farmland, had gas stations, so forth and so on. So we're at home, and at night, we were afraid that maybe some of the people were going to come by, some of those anti-freedom riders were going to come by our place and sort of, maybe try to do some damage or what they might say, burn a flag, burn a cross on our facility. So what happened was my brother, if I'm 13, he's probably 12 or 11, and our father had just recently bought him a new 410 shotgun, okay? So what my brother is going to do that night, he's going to sit on the porch, sit up with his gun, and of course he's going to more or less do some damage to those persons that are going to come by the house, if that's going to happen. Well, what happened was the night went on. Through the night, he's outside, on the porch, sitting, with his shotgun in his hand, on his lap. And so what happened is this: the next morning, I get up, I come outside to see how he's done. I look out there in the parking lot of our grocery store, and there's a flag, there's a cross that have actually burned, and the ashes are sitting there. The ashes are there. You can see the cross still standing. But my brother is in a deep sleep, or he's actually sleeping. He was sitting up all night to be able to catch them, and he ended up falling asleep. I would say a deep sleep, because he didn't get to fire his gun, and the dadgum cross is already burnt up, in the lot, the store lot. And so I was waking him up. He's like, "What happened, man? You see that cross over there?" He looks up. He felt he had fallen asleep. Now here's the scenario. In my mind, after thinking about it over the years, had he been awake and fired that gun at them, 9 times out of 10, he probably would have tried to fire more than one shot. Well, had he done that and even hit one of those more or less haters, 9 times out of 10, they would have retaliated. And of course, we're living in like a 5-bedroom situation home. And they probably would have retaliated and came over and actually did some serious damage, even damage to the point that they could have burned our house down with all of us in it. So my position on that is, after thinking about it, is that I am so glad God put him to sleep, in a deep sleep, so that he would not be able to fire that gun to those persons who were not attempting, but actually burned a cross in our yard, to kind of warn us, hey, look, don't engage, don't get involved with these freedom riders. So that's where I'm at with the situation, in that it's horrible. It's a horrible situation that people have so much hatred in their system that they've organized to do serious harm to a free people, and that with more or less low wages is why we formed FairIsFare.club, FairIsFare.club, and we're going to continue to tell our story. We're going to continue to bring highlights to the situation at hand. Now, Next time I get a chance to share with you, I'm going to talk to you about 1865, the Civil Rights Act of 1875. 1875, okay? We'll talk about that and share with you our thoughts on that. God bless you on today. This is Johnny Bauman.